Welcome to Driving the Lane with Randy Kreinenbrink and Chuck Rowe. Now, Driving the Lane.
Welcome to Driving the Lane. Randy Kreinenbrink, Chuck Rowe, the show where we talk about mostly one thing and one thing only, and that is
Panther basketball.
Now, it's important that we remind you that even though we are the official UNI basketball show for the Panther Collective, our comments may not reflect the feelings of our friends at UNI. However, Randy is a former player, and I got to watch senior night and Cole Henry having his last home game last time around. So this show is as official as it's going to get.
What a big win for us, and what a great way to send Cole out on senior night off the home court.
Were you able to be there live, or did you have to watch on TV this time?
I watched on TV.
Yeah.
I got to watch on
He's
TV.
a nice guy, isn't he? I mean,
yeah. He was we had him on the show clearly, and he does a great interview. So wish him all the success in the world.
Now, as always, we have a great show for everyone. Joining us this week, some of the student managers are going to be with us. We have the Panther Collective Questions of the Week. And of course, the most important thing, Randy, the Financial Architects Quote of the Week. Randy, excited to have with us today. Drum roll, please. Now, we have some special guests today, Randy. Let's see a top-notch drum roll. Come on. Okay. Good enough.
You saw it. You may not have heard it.
We have our managers with us today, James Pollard and Colin Cronin. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Now, in order to have a successful basketball program, Randy, you know this because you played, you have to have a team behind the team. And our UNI managers are known to be some of the best in the Valley. So I want to ask you guys, what encouraged you to become managers? How did you hear about it? How did you sign up? What's the process? Tell us your story.
Yeah, so I'll go first. I played basketball in high school. I liked being around it. So I thought coming to UNI, it'd be fun to, be involved with managing, something to do, after class and have fun with.
I was not like Colin. I did not play in high school. I was actually a manager in high school. I realized in middle school that I was not a good player. But I wanted to get into coaching. And so, I decided to be a manager in high school and knew I kind of wanted to do it in college. Like Colin, reached out to the staff when I was in high school and just built that relationship with them. And it all kind of worked out.
So give a little shout out to the schools you came from, obviously the high schools you came from, and then kind of tell us what year you're here at UNI, what year you are, and then maybe what your majors are as well.
So I'm from Ames, Iowa, but I went to Gilbert High School. We're 3A, and now I'm a junior here. It's my third year with the team. It's I love it here. I'm studying sports administration, that fits well with what I'm doing, and I love it here.
I'm from Dubuque, Iowa. I went to Waller High School, also 3A. My major is management informational leadership.
So you come from high school, you get to UNI. What do? Do you just walk into Jake's office one day and say, "Hey, I want to be a manager"? How does that work?
So it kind of started with me. I started emailing schools when I was in high school that I was just interested in, kind of around the Midwest. And so Ike Hermer was who I emailed here. Kind of got in touch with him. And then when I actually came on my visit here, I was able to meet with him and meet with Coach Jake and kind of meet the entire staff and just kind of asked about the position and what it all entailed. And then I just kind of kept in touch with Ike throughout the rest of my junior and beginning of my senior year. And then when I decided that I was going to come to UNI, I let him know that. They allowed me to come work camp that summer and kind of get a feel for it. And it worked out for me that they were graduating 4 managers. And so there was a lot of openings. I was lucky to be able to be on board. And then, Colin, now that I'm kind of in my third year, I've been able to kind of be involved in the hiring of some managers. And so when Colin reached out, we set up an interview with him over the summer and got to talk with him and kind of get his thoughts and why he was interested in it. And he's done a great job for us.
Now, was Colin like your 6th or 7th choice, or?
Yeah, we had a lot of people say no, so we just had to keep working our way down.
Yeah.
And,
No, he seems like he was probably a number 1 guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could tell. He's a hard worker. And well, Haley, I think she started out as a manager once upon a time, right? And then now she works with Ike, of course. Is that something that the two of you are looking to do down the road then?
Me for sure. Yeah, I definitely want to stay in the business, whether that's the coaching side or like Haley, more of the operations side. Kind of still trying to figure that out. But yes, I definitely want to stay in coaching.
I'd also like to stay coaching. Doesn't really matter. Maybe like player development, operations, assistant coach, whatever I can get.
And I think that's how Oakland got into coaching. He started off as a manager and kind of worked his way up. That's great. Now, James, I kind of went through your social media a little bit so I can learn a little bit more about you. And I could have stumbled across the wrong picture. You let me know. But were you a South Dakota State fan or?
I was at a time. So being from Ames, Iowa, and growing up as an Iowa State fan, when TJ Otzelberger was the head coach at South Dakota State, I had gotten to know him a little bit. And so I think it was my 8th grade year. He invited me up to work their camp. And so I went up there and got to work camp there and got to know him and his staff. And so yeah, when I was looking at schools, South Dakota State was one of the options that I was looking at. Now I'm glad that I came here. I love it. But yeah, no, they have a great staff up there, and yeah, I like to follow them and all their success as well.
Well, when Randy asked where you were from, I assumed you were going to say South Dakota, and then he said Ames and kind of threw me off a little bit.
No.
But tell us about your love for basketball as a kid and some of the things that you really enjoyed doing basketball wise.
Yeah, just growing up, being involved in a sports family. My family was full of runners, but I never got the running gene from them. So I kind of fell into the basketball, golf. And so I love golf. And that's probably my favorite sport to play. But basketball was, probably overall my favorite just to watch and go to games. And so, yeah, just kind of fell in love with that. And so, yeah, when I was in high school, just getting to be involved in doing stats and doing some video breakdown for our high school team. And, I just kind of knew that this is what I wanted to do when I was older.
Yeah, so I kind of grew up around basketball as well. We had Pollard, obviously we go to basketball games on Friday nights. We had a couple in town D3 college teams that I go watch. So growing up, I always liked watching basketball, TV, in person, whatever. So, I mean, coming out of high school, I really knew I wanted to be a coach. I wanted to stay connected with basketball, and that's why I decided to be a manager here.
So I think as Chuck alluded to earlier, without you guys, some practices don't go off real well and some games don't go off real well, right? So maybe give us a little bit of a breakdown of maybe your day-to-day activities that none of us would see. But obviously, if it doesn't happen, the balls don't get on the court, right? I mean, so kind of give us kind of your day-to-day activities, what goes on, and kind of one day in the life of Colin and James.
Yeah, so right now it starts with practice in the morning. So we're usually getting here an hour early, and get everything set up, get the ball racks out, get the shot clocks on, get the towels out, gum box, the sticky pad, get our film set up. And then during practice, Colin and I are the ones up at filming practice. And then we have, one or two people on the clock, and then the rest of them on the floor with basketballs, whiteboards for the coaches, towels to wipe up sweat when guys fall down. And then, yeah, before practice, it's rebounding for players that want to get shots up. Sometimes our coaches will shoot with guys after practice as well. So making sure we have managers to rebound for that. And then game days is very similar. Like, as you guys see, we have managers on the floor. So like when guys fall down, got to make sure that gets wiped out. I cut the game. So I'm on the computer behind our bench during the games, cutting that all up for our coaches to have at halftime to watch clips and just after the game. And then we have some managers on stools, like Colin sometimes does. So during media timeouts, getting those stools out there for guys to sit down. Am I missing anything?
Yeah, I think you touched on it all.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a lot of the lot of the little things, a lot of the work that, like you said, people don't see. But if there's nobody getting the ball racks out, then there's no basketballs for our guys to shoot with, or
Right.
no stools for our guys to sit down on. So
So we've all heard about the Tom Brady, football, right? Have you ever done anything to the opposing team's basketballs where like they come for shoot around and they're half flat or anything like that?
we definitely, we've never done it to an opposing team. We make sure they're all taken care of, but we've had times where, yeah, the balls that we do get, if we get them, we've had times this year where we get there and there's no basketballs out. But yeah, we've had times where they're flat, or we only have like 4 basketballs to warm up with, and it's like, come on, what is this, right? Like, so we make sure to, as much as fun as it would be to get them back when they come here, we make sure to take care of them and make sure they're set.
So it
Okay.
sounds like you do a great job at treating the opponents very well, as if you would like to be treated. So
Exactly.
since you bring it up, who are some of those opposing teams that maybe don't do the same quality of work for you?
I hope they're not listening, but yeah, we've had some just stories, Evansville, Valpo, UIC, where it's the basketballs aren't out, or I think when we went to Valpo, there was only like 4 for our guys to warm up with. But it's whatever. We'll deal with it. It's not going to stop us.
Now, Colin, you played in high school. So then whenever there's been numerous injuries at one time during practice, do they ever say, hey, we need you to jump in and scrimmage with us?
No, I don't know if I'd be able to hold my own on that. So thankfully, I have not had that situation.
Now, just for fun, have either of you played any of the players in like one-on-one or horse or anything like that? And what was the outcome?
Yeah, so I'll name drop my first workout with Drew Daniel. Obviously he's like 6'7", really tall. He had the stick, so he already has like a 7-foot wingspan. So he had a longer, arm length, and he said, "You're not leaving until you score on me." And he just blocked every single shot I had. It was hilarious though.
If you're going to start off playing one-on-one against somebody, you picked one of the nicest guys. That's
Yeah.
probably a smart idea. Break down for us, if you could, from a fan perspective, from our seats, we could see maybe how things go. But behind the scenes, tell us what something like a senior night is like. And what was the atmosphere like in the locker room for Cole after the game?
Well, I think especially during the game, I felt like the crowd was really into it, which is good to send off Cole for his senior night. I feel like, if it were my senior night, I want a big crowd cheering me on. I think they did a really good job of honoring him, and the fans did a really good job showing out and being supportive of him and the team.
Yeah, I think it's cool. You kind of forget as you're going throughout the season. But when you finally get to senior night, and I think it's just you kind of realize and you kind of see like, hey, all the work that Cole has put in for the last 5 years, and like this is going to be his last game playing in the McLeod Center. Like, it kind of, even though you're not going through it with him, you don't know exactly how he feels. You can kind of, emphasize with him, and kind of feel the emotions that that he might be feeling. And so it's kind of cool when you can sit back and get to honor him and see all the work he's put in.
So in the years you guys have been managers, what's been the coolest road trip that you've been on and why?
I would probably say this year getting to go to the Bahamas for the Battle for Atlantis. That was a really cool experience for me. Not only just getting to be outside the country and enjoy the warm weather, but not only the caliber of the field as well, but the uniqueness of the tournament. Everything was at the resort, everything was walking distance, and then, watching it on TV, but until you get to experience it, playing in that hotel ballroom with, bleacher seats that they wheel in, that was a cool experience. A lot of planning went into it, especially with having the South Florida game right before it. That was a long road trip for us. So there was a lot of hard work and planning that went into it. And it wasn't just sit down by the pool all day. But still getting to be down there was super cool.
I haven't been on any road trips yet. James always tells me stories. I always ask him when he comes back, how was it? What was it like? He tells me some good stories. I think they sound like fun, but they also sound like a lot of work. So
I see how it is. So coach says to James, who are the folks that should go to the Bahamas? And James is like, well, coach, I just have to be the one that goes. I'm the only one that knows how to do A, B, C, X, Y, Z, it sounds like, right? What's that one job that managers hate doing the most that always gets put on the freshmen?
I mean, I think this year maybe like the court cleaning. We really haven't had to do any laundry this year. I'm sure that would be number one on the list if we did, but maybe like court cleaning, maybe like vacuuming up the locker room after a long practice, something like that, the freshmen might not want to do, but everybody's done it. So it's kind of like they got to take one for the team. They got to do it.
And have any of you ever missed a task at any time where you thought afterwards, like, oh my gosh, like Jake's going to kick my butt? Like maybe you forgot to put the basketballs out before practice, or you forgot to get the favorite snack, or didn't put the gum container out. Like anything like that ever happen?
I've made plenty of those mistakes. I don't know if to the point where I felt like coach was gonna yell at me. But yeah, I've definitely made, those mistakes all the time where, I forget to do something, or, I almost forget that a team's going to come for shoot around and, the lights aren't on. I've unfortunately made far too many of those mistakes. But
See, 2 seconds ago, he's like, these other teams do all this stuff to us. He doesn't even turn the lights on for him.
Hey, I got it. We got it figured out. It was, I think it was last year, maybe they were supposed to come at like 11 o'clock. I think it was Valpo. They're supposed to come at 11 o'clock, and I'm just up in the office, and I check my phone at like 10:55, and I see a text from their ops guy that says, "Hey, we're on our way." And I'm like, "Oh no." Like the basketballs weren't out, the lights aren't on, and it takes the lights, a good 5 to 10 minutes to, heat up and get fully on. So I sprinted down there and got everything figured out before they got there. But yeah, almost a disaster.
Okay, those running jeans came into play. So
Yeah, for sure.
Now's the time for the Panther Collective questions of the week, where we ask you some questions directly from the fans. So number one is, I know you guys handle a lot of the shopping. What are the top 3 snacks requested by the team?
Ooh, top 3 snacks. That's tough. I'd maybe say like Rice Krispie bars are up there. I know our guys like those. Cheez-Its is a good one. That's popular. Man, I do a lot of this, and I don't have great answers for this. Goldfish, Cheez-Its, Goldfish, granola bars are up there.
I mean, I feel like they go through the fruit snacks and the yogurt pretty quick. So I feel like that would be relatively high up on the list.
What do they like to eat most after a game? Is it pizza or is it ice cream? Like the women's team, they like ice cream.
Yeah, we usually try to do a pizza spot, and I'd say 90% of our guys get pizza. But there's a few that might get, a sandwich or a salad. But yeah, a lot of it's pizza.
Okay.
Oh, someone's getting the salad instead of the pizza. That's good. Good.
EJ's the big salad guy.
That makes sense.
Now, there's a tradition before you play a conference game, managers will sometimes play the managers from the opposing team, right? This is against, I believe it was Missouri State, this box score. And so, first off, I had no idea there were this many managers. So how many managers are there altogether?
We have 9 total.
Okay, 9 altogether. Never knew that. Wow. Secondly, if you throw in maybe Jackson Hanson as well, your Jackson to Panther ratio is off the charts. I mean, there are a lot of Jacksons on this team, your manager team in general. But Colin, again, this is against Missouri State. Give us a rundown of what happened to you and James in this game, because when I look at the field goal shooting percentage, what happened, guys?
Yeah, so it was a very off shooting night for me. Started out really slow, missed my first couple shots. I think I had like a pull-up jumper that I missed, a 3 that I missed. I had a transition layup that I missed, and I was really disappointed about. I think I hit my last shot, which was good for end the game on a high note, but I didn't really start on a high note.
And then James,
yeah,
a goose egg, buddy.
As I said, I figured out in middle school that I wasn't a great player, but what I would like to focus on is being the shortest guy out there on the court, 3 rebounds. That's pretty good right there.
That is pretty amazing. Whoever
That's
decided to put
awesome.
the efficiencies on here should have decided maybe not to, because I do feel bad that you two, come on, -3 guys, come on.
Yes, I
But
will say the box score is a shout out to Jackson Hanson. He's at all our games, just like he does for our real games. He's on his phone doing all the stats. So that box score wouldn't be possible without Jackson Hanson. So big shout out to him for that.
now you're kind of the scouting report for the team. So help us out here, because we don't get to see these games all the time. So Carter and Jackson, are these guys legit scorers?
They are. Yeah. Carter, obviously, he played at Dubuque. And then Jackson has played at Briarcliff for a year. So yeah, they're both, we wouldn't be the same team without them. And then, yeah, you look up Kyler, he played as well and with the triple double. So yeah, they, Carter and Jackson are our elite shooters. And they take our most shots, but, Owen, Kyler, they're on the boards. They're dishing it out as well.
I mean, 23 rebounds. That's great. What's the secret? Is he just taller than everyone else, or?
But no, he's definitely strong on the boards. He crashes hard. So yeah, it's good to have somebody like him out there.
Defensive player of the year. Who wins that on this squad?
I'm gonna say Owen. He's a lockdown defender. We try to put him on their best guy. So I'd give it to Owen.
I would also give it to Owen. I mean, he's been a great defender all year for us. Like James said, we put him on their best score, and he just locks them down.
And what about the Mr. Hustle Award, the guy who's diving for everything, jumping over chairs, things like that?
Probably also give it to Owen or even Carson on that one. Carson, he's out there. I've seen him dive on the floor a couple times, I think.
I think I'd have to give it to Kyler. He's in there doing all the dirty work down low, getting offensive rebounds, making, getting extra possessions for us. I think he really hustles out there.
And have you guys had a game?
That's awesome.
Then?
Yeah, so yeah, Belmont and Missouri State are our 2 wins, and then we played Bradley, and unfortunately lost to them. They had, you guys might know the name, Daryl Brown. When he was on their team, he's their player development guy now, and he played for them.
Oh,
so
gosh, that seems unfair, but okay.
That's unfair. Yeah.
Yeah. He probably had about 40 of their, 68 points or whatever they had. So, and we would have put Owen on him, but Owen had class or had work, and so he didn't get there till the second half, unfortunately, and so
Double whammy.
yeah, that's wish we could get payback on that one.
Another tradition that has started is this. Now, I thought this was a one-time thing, but then I was told that not necessarily, that this has become a little bit of a tradition at some games. Tell us about the tradition. Tell us how this got started and when you do this and when you don't. And I hear the number's even higher than 50 now. Tell us about this.
Well, yeah. So I'll try to make the story as quick as possible. So it started one day in the office. I think Ike was going to lift, and he asked me if I wanted to come with, like he does sometimes. I'm like, I keep telling him no, like I don't work out that much. But I was saying, the one thing I will do is push-ups. Like I've always, that's kind of been the one thing that I do a little bit. And so it started where I said I was going to do a random number generator between 50 and 100. And that's how many push-ups I would do. And so I did it. And then I said, okay, I'm going to increase the range by 1 each day. So, 51 to 101, 52 to 102, and so on. And so it kind of became a thing in our office. That's what I would do. And so when we went to Murray State and beat them on the road, I usually don't go in the locker room after the game. I'll go back out to the court and, kind of clean up the bench. But coach is like, James, get in there, get the guys all pumped up. And so I go in there and I'm pumping them up. And then I hear PJ go, James, do your push-ups. And so I get down on the floor and I think I did like 20 or so. But but then we said, okay, when we beat Belmont, you'll do it again. And, I have to do more that time. And so, of course, we beat Belmont and, it was a great win. And so I go in there and I forget the number that I had that day, but I had like 48 left to do. And was kind of saving them for, after the game. And so I was like, I couldn't just stop at 48. So that's why I did the 50. So that's, kind of how it got started. I don't think I've done it on the road since. But yeah, that's a cool video and something that, when I look back on my memories here, will kind of be a top memory.
Randy, how does that video inspire you?
I tell you what, he's got that chaturanga. He's got that yoga push-up down really, really well. I'm not going to lie. I'm with PJ going to yoga, right? And that's impressive. That's impressive to do 50 in a row. That's first class right there. Congrats. No wonder your jumper isn't all that great, because that's tough to go from those push-ups to shooting a jumper.
Yeah, there's my excuse.
Yeah, go for it. Pulled it out in St. Louis as well when we win the conference tournament.
Yep, you got it. Win 3 straight, and there we go.
Absolutely. You'd do 100 a day for that 4 days straight.
You'll be like, this will be buff. Yeah.
So,
okay, honesty policy here, though. What's the most push-ups do you think any of you could do in one sitting?
In one sitting, maybe like 30. If you really get me going, I could probably do about 30.
Okay. What about you, Randy?
Man, I'm probably in that 30 to 40 range as well, in one shot.
Nice.
Right? Yeah. Impressive.
Yeah. Look at you. I'm at like 40.
But not 50.
Like
Not
4.
50.
I had a lot of adrenaline going. That was a fun win. And yeah, that was I don't know if I could just do 50, with nothing going on, but that was all adrenaline right there.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Well, let me ask you 2 more questions. One has to do with the coaches, and one has to do with something from your perspective. So the first is, I'm going to name a coach, and I want the 2 of you, one of you, to give an answer of like maybe behind the scenes. What is there something personality wise, or maybe like preparation wise, that each of these coaches, what you might see that everyone else doesn't see, because you're able to see behind the scenes, right? So what's something about Jake that maybe you get to see that other people don't?
Yeah, I think he's really calm. Like in some situations, he gets really calm. He wants the best out of each player. You can see it during the game and timeouts. He really wants, his guys to play hard, play fast, win the game.
Tut has a lot of energy. And he does a great job with our offense, watching film with guys and, really trying to simplify it for them and, really make things make sense. But his energy is top notch.
What about Austin?
Oh, Big Five. He's the guy. I think his playing experience, obviously, and being able to connect with the bigs, even on the bench, I see it during games, being able to tell those guys, 1 or 2 things that they can do better. And they, obviously, since they played with him, I guess not Huddy, but, Cole and Drew and Chase, like, they have a lot of respect for him because they've seen his success firsthand. So yeah, I think his playing experience and just kind of being younger, and he does a really good job.
How he interacts with you, has that changed? Where when as a player he was really cool to you, but now that he's a coach, he's like kind of he's up here and he's like, oh, excuse me, James, that's your name, right? James, go clean. Has he changed at all, or is he still a down to earth guy?
Not really, not really. He's still the same old fun.
As we would imagine. What about Coach G?
Coach G, he works with the defense a lot. I feel like he's really good at he encourages guys. I feel like he really tries to get the best out of them. Like during scout, he does a really good job just encouraging the guys, getting them to do what the other team does, stuff like that.
PJ.
Oh, PJ, he's the grinder. He's always in there. He'd probably tell you he watches too much film sometimes. But no, he does a really good job of just making sure all the little things that's obviously with the defensive side, what a team's going to run. He watches probably more games of an opponent than I've ever seen. So yeah, he's the ultimate grinder. He's always in there first one in the morning, one of the last ones to leave, and goes to his yoga session in the middle of the day. Like, he's got his routine, and that's why he's been in this business for so long and been successful.
And what's something about Ike and Haley that you guys respect that, again, that maybe we don't see?
Ike, he does a great job. He helps G with scouts, and does a great job with that. We're gonna cut this part out. I'm trying to think. Not that I don't have any good things to say about him. You take
Oh,
it.
we are not cutting this part out then. There
I
we
think
go.
I think they both do a really good job. They work really hard to make sure that, like, especially for like road trips and stuff, that like the hotel's booked, the flights are booked, the food's taken care of. I feel like they do a really good job of, coordinating that to make sure that nobody has to worry about, oh, I don't have food. Oh, we have to wait to check into our hotel, or our flight's late. I just feel like they do a really good job. They work really hard. They coordinate it really well.
Yeah, Haley does a tremendous job with our operation stuff. She is so good at just thinking of things that maybe nobody else on staff would think of. And making sure that everything is in order, and is going to work out. I will share, on our Murray and Belmont swing trip, when we got to Nashville, there was like, I don't even know, 3 to 4 inches of snow on the ground, but for Nashville, that's like, everything is shut down. And so we, on that trip, it was a lot of, everything that we had planned in terms of meals and, was basically, it had to be changed, just because every place was shut down. But, she did a great job on that trip of, being able to think on the fly and get things figured out. Came away with 2 wins.
Yep.
So something had to work.
Next year, when we see Colin in the Bahamas or wherever exciting place they end up going, and we notice that James stays home, it's because when we said, what do you have to say about Ike? It took him 10 minutes to think of one nice thing. That's
Exactly
why.
Yeah, he's gone.
I'm going to be in the doghouse with him for a while.
So, hey, here's the last question I have for you, and then Randy might have one more. But one last question for you from some fans is that you get to sit on the bench all the time for every single game. Now, there's your opportunity to maybe give some advice to some of the players. But what are 1 or 2 things that you want to see from the team or a player that you think we need to do in order to win Arch Madness down the road?
Yeah, I think, obviously, playing hard, playing aggressive all the time, but just keeping our composure, and staying poised, and understanding that when we go down to Arch Madness, whether we play 3 games or 4 games, it's all going to be against good teams. And in a tough environment down there, you're going to have, silly things that happen, or, we're going to play teams that are going to go on runs. But if we can just keep our composure, stay poised, play how I know we can play, and like everybody's seen this year, then, that's gonna help us have some success.
I think James hit a lot of good points there. I'll say I think we need to continue to play fast, play hard, like James said. We also need to have energy. Coaches always tend to say energy is contagious. Teams are going to make runs. You're going to make a run. You can't get too high or too low. You just got to stay even keel the whole game, play with energy, play together.
The only thing I'm going to add, Chuck, is it's kind of cool to have, obviously we talk to players, we talk to parents, we talk to that kind of stuff, but without you 2 guys and obviously the whole crew, right? The games, the practices, all that just doesn't roll as smooth as the coaches would want it to. And I don't think we play as well as we should, because behind the scenes, you guys have to take care of all this stuff. So the only thing I'd say is thank you guys very much. I mean, as a player, we appreciated our managers a ton, everything they did for us, because you're always asked to run and get this for this player or that player, whatever it might be, and it's always done. So we greatly appreciate it. The other thing I would add is maybe when some of those teams come in, maybe we deflate a couple balls, we do something to them. All right, we get payback. Payback needs to happen every once in a while. So maybe pull it off for us, okay?
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. We appreciate it. Thanks for joining us, and have a great final game, and then good luck in St. Louis. Financial Architect's quote of the week: success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Kind of a long quote again this week, but meaningful.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
So, I like how, what was it? Success is,
Success is not final,
yeah,
failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts, Chuck.
yeah, yeah.
Right?
I
Mhm.
love it. I love it because it's like
Yeah.
you don't stop. You don't stop just because you hit your goal. Keep going.
Right? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
Well, yeah. As always, good for you, good for me, good for everybody. Now it's time to say goodbye, though, from Chuck and Randy. See you next week. Enter the closing music.